Welcome to Rewatch and Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is Naruto Prologue - Land of Waves arc, episode 19, The Demon in the Snow. Episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happens in the episode. So the episode begins with basically where the last one left off. Gato has come onto the bridge and is basically like, Zabuza, you're gonna die here. I'm not paying you. Essentially betraying him. And he then kind of desecrates Haku's body by stepping on his corpse's face, which is disgusting behavior. And as a result of that, Naruto gets really upset, and Zabuza's like, kid, calm down, he's already dead. And then Naruto goes on a long-winded speech about how much Haku loved Zabuza and how important Zabuza was to him, and that he gave his life for him, and don't you feel anything, and blah 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 blah. And Zabuza's heart is changed by Naruto's speech, and he basically tells Naruto he doesn't have to say any more, and asks for his sword. His sword is thrown to him. He catches it in his mouth, having removed the bandages from his face, and he goes ahead and attacks Gato and his men, taking quite a few with him before he ultimately is also brought down. And he's brought down just after getting Gato himself. But the thugs are still wanting to continue the fight. However, that's when Inari and the rest of the villagers come on to the bridge and are fully ready to fight, which gives the thugs a little bit of pause. So Naruto then creates some shadow clones. Kakashi also creates some shadow clones, overcompensating a bit because he makes a lot more than Naruto, even though he said his chakra was almost out. And we know that Naruto can make way more than what he actually made. But anyways, the point is they make these shadow clones. This scares all of Gato's thugs to basically run back to their boat and ship off from the Land of Waves. This leads to the Land of Waves being free, and Sasuke wakes up, so Sakura's happy and Naruto's happy because it turns out everything worked out super fine. Zabuza and Haku's bodies are brought together at Zabuza's request, and then it starts to snow as like a final goodbye to Haku, who of course had ice powers, and everybody's celebrating. We then see that Haku and Zabuza were buried next to each other as Kakashi and, well, basically as all of Team 7 is getting ready to leave the Land of Waves. Inari and Naruto have a bit of a teary goodbye while trying to pretend they aren't crying, and telling each other that it's okay if you cry in this instance, but both of them aren't admitting that they're crying. And then Team 7 leaves to go back to the Hidden Leaf Village, their mission completed successfully, and as they're walking away, Tazuna and Tsunami, they talk about what to name the bridge, and Tazuna calls the bridge a bridge of hope, binding two sides together, and in the hopes that it will never break. He thinks that it should be named after someone he is sure is going to be very famous one day for being super strong, and they name it the Great Naruto Bridge, which is just a nice ending and wrapping up of this arc. So now that we've been reminded what happened in the episode, it's time to rank the episode. First on our mostly objective ranking list, followed by the personal ranking list. And we start with our single arc supporting character development. Gato dies. Nobody's upset about it. And it's only worth 1 point. Then we have our single arc main character development, which unfortunately is that Zabuza dies, though he does get to be with Haku in the afterlife, so I mean there's a silver lining to everything. 2 points. 2 more points for the single arc main character growth, which is Zabuza acknowledging Haku's importance to him and having that change of heart that leads to him attacking Gato despite his paralyzed arms, and ultimately killing Gato for his betrayal. And then also We have the character growth of Inari, which is more on the emotional side, which of course is that Inari has found his bravery, found his courage, thanks to Naruto's help, and he has managed, since the last episode, to rally the villagers to come and make a stand themselves. So even though they were freed by Team 7, they found their own ability to fight back, which should then hopefully prevent anything like what happened happening again in the future, as now they are ready to fight for and stand up for themselves. Also 2 points. We then have our resolved battle, which was Zabuza versus Kakashi versus Gato. 2 points again. Successful emotional impact. So Zabuza dying isn't super sad because, he was more villainous than Haku was. But there is that moment when their bodies are taken, or rather, Zabuza is still holding on to a little bit of life, and he asks Kakashi for a favor to bring him next to Haku, where he then, faces Haku as he dies next to him, and then the snow starts falling, and it's such a beautiful scene. Like, it's such a sweet and beautiful scene that I couldn't say that it wasn't emotionally impacting, because it really elicited emotion. So there you go. Then there was the impactful / memorable moment line, etc. And this, of course, is the fact that Naruto has a bridge named after him now, the Great Naruto Bridge. He doesn't know it because they name it after he leaves, but um, I thought that's very an iconic and memorable moment that he has a bridge now named after him. And then we have our multi-arc main character development, which of course is Sasuke waking up from his injuries, showing once again that Haku was truly a good person because he basically did to Sasuke what he had done to Zabuza in a way. He hit the vital points with the Senbon to make it appear as though Sasuke had died, but really he was just knocked out, and now he's come to. So again, all's well that ends well. That's worth 4 points. And of course, there were a couple of negatives. First one, of course, was Gato's betrayal of Zabuza. Not a good thing. Betrayal is never a great thing, even if it's villains betraying each other. Loyalty among your own kind and all. And then also, I guess desecration's as too harsh of a word, but causing indignity to the corpse. Haku being as pure as he was, the fact that he gets like stomped on after he's dead by Gato of all people, I just think that that is disgusting. So I also took 2 points for that because why wouldn't I? However, this was a very positive point heavy episode, and even with those 2 negative points, we are above 10, making it a 10 out of 10 episode. And that brings our definitive arc ranking for the mostly objective ranking to as follows, because this was the last episode in this arc. In first, we have Enter Naruto Uzumaki. Wait, before I give the list, actually, just a brief reminder that I've reminded many, many times on this channel, but when more than one episode has the same score on the mostly objective ranking, they will be ranked in episode order, meaning like the order that the episode airs in is the order that they will be put in when they share the same score. So that puts in first place Enter Naruto Uzumaki. Second, Sasuke and Sakura, Friends or Foes. Third, we have You Failed Kakashi's Final Decision. Fourth, A Dangerous Mission, Journey to the Land of Waves. Fifth, The Assassin of the Mist. Sixth, The Oath of Pain. Seventh, The Broken Seal. 8th, White Past Hidden Ambition. 9th, The Demon in the Snow, which was this episode. Then we had in 10th, Kakashi Sharingan Warrior. 11th, My Name is Konohamaru. 12th, The Forest of Chakra. 13th, Pass or Fail Survival Test. 14th, Battle on the Bridge. Zabuza Returns. 15th, Haku's Secret Jutsu, Demonic Mirroring Ice Crystals. 16th, the weapons known as Shinobi. 17th, The Land Where a Hero Once Lived. 18th, the number one hyperactive knuckle-headed ninja joins the fight. And then in 19th is Zero Visibility, the Sharingan shatters. Bringing us to my personal ranking, and spoilers or not, I did give this episode a 10 out of 10. I did really like the episode. It had the sweetest moment in the entire arc in this episode. It had a bit of a comedic ending with the naming of the bridge once Naruto's away, Nari and Naruto trying not to cry at each other. So you had like the swinging of emotions. You had like the very sad but sweet, bittersweet moment between Haku and Zabuza and their final goodbye, their grave, etc. The comedy of the goodbye, some action with the completion of the fight, Zabuza killing Gato, and driving away all of the others. You have the inspiration of all of the villagers coming together and choosing to fight for themselves again. And even as Tazuna points out, Naruto changed Inari's mind, and Inari managed to change the village's minds, making it ultimately Naruto who changed everybody's mind via proxy. And so ultimately, I think that this episode was really good for a finale to the arc. I think it tied everything up nicely in a nice, neat little bow. And apart from Gato being cruel to Haku's corpse, I think everything about it was really good. And Gato got his just desserts because Zabuza did ultimately end up killing him. And therefore, I feel like there was very little flaws at all to this episode. However, I did still put in first place on our definitive personal ranking the Broken Seal in first, only because I still think that the red chakra coming out of Naruto was super epic and honestly more memorable. And for as exciting as this episode is, like with all the different types of moments it had, I also feel like there wasn't a lot of action in it. So I did give it a 10 out of 10, but it is in second place. So first we had again the Broken Seal. Second, this episode, the Demon in the Snow. Third, White Past, Hidden Ambition. Fourth, The Oath of Pain. Fifth, A Dangerous Mission, Journey to the Land of Waves. Sixth, My Name is Konohamaru, and Konohamaru is still adorable. Then we have seventh, The Assassin of the Mist. Eighth, Pass or Fail Survival Test. Ninth, Enter Naruto Uzumaki. 10th, the weapons known as Shinobi. 11th, You Failed Kakashi's Final Decision. 12th, Sasuke and Sakura Friends or Foes. 13th, Zero Visibility, the Sharingan Shatters. 14th, Kakashi Sharingan Warrior. 15th, the number one hyperactive knuckle-headed ninja joins the fight. 16th, Haku's Secret Jutsu, Demonic Mirroring Ice Crystals. 17th, Battle on the Bridge, Zabuza Returns. 18th, The Forest of Chakra. And in last place for me, to nobody's surprise, The Land Where a Hero Once Lived. And now that brings us to the series ranking so far, and we do have the final score for the first arc of Naruto, which is of course the prologue - Land of Waves arc. On the mostly objective ranking, the final score was 140 out of a possible 190, which works out to being 73.68%. And on the personal ranking side, the prologue - Land of Waves arc had a final score of 118 out of 190, and that worked out to 62.11%. But with that, we have now rewatched and ranked Naruto prologue - Land of Waves arc, episode 19, The Demon in the Snow. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode, which will be the first episode of the Chunin Exams arc.